Jake, we had a very spirited discussion about this on our call earlier today. I am the only person at this table that has had to fill out that form Natalie Hart skipped out on, that FS86G, honey. And look.
Somehow you passed.
And somehow I passed, okay? Get into it.
We're skeptical.
Get into it. But I think it's very important because when I first read this story, what is remarkable is not that she was working at the White House and whatnot. And I think what's remarkable is that she didn't fill out the form. And not filling out the form is very important because the FS86G, it is the document that the background checkers, the folks at the FBI, so on and so forth, the investigators, that they use to go through and they comb through the entire life of certain people who are going to work in the executive office of the president, which encompasses the vice president's office as well. You know, Natalie Hart is a special assistant to the president, but she's also the executive assistant to the president, which means that she sees classified documents. She's in the background of rooms hearing things. And the problem with her not having filled out the form means that the FBI didn't do their deep dive, which means we don't know if Natalie Hart is bought and paid for. We don't know if her auntie twice removed that might have lived with them once has a debt and that she feels beholden to have to pay that debt. We don't know if she herself has been to where she says she's been. The government did not do the background check. Now, to be very clear, last point I'll make, they could have done all this, found red flags, but the president could have overrode them anyway. And every White House has had that done. I do believe, though, in this White House has happened more often than not.
That's right. I mean, that's a great point, which is that, one, to zoom out and just say the president, in terms of classification and clearance, does not take this seriously or take it near the way it's been done. The precedent exists. What also is fascinating here is not only did she not fill out the paperwork, she was asked repeatedly to do so by security officials, by top White House aides who were deeply concerned about the fact that we were a year in and we didn't know all the things you just said. Foreign officials she might have been intertwined with in the past, where she's lived before, relationships she's been a part of before. We didn't know any of this. They came to her repeatedly. She declined to participate for a lengthy amount of time, to the point of where
Can I just ask why?
Yeah, and how? What do you mean
why
decline?
And how? Yes. Why did she decline? How did she decline?
It's a great question that a lot of people have said right now, which is I didn't know declining was an
Correct.
option. And I don't think you probably knew that either whenever you did that.
Declining was not an option. Now what you could do is you could fill it out and then say, maybe y'all need to make sure I get pushed through. But everybody has to fill it out usually. So it is unusual that she got all the way into the White House. Literally, she went to go pick up her laptop. To be very clear, during the transition time, there's an off-site place where the new staff go and pick up their laptop. They pick up their badges. You take a photo. She went through all of that and had not done a security clearance.
I'll say this: I've played dumb with some of the officials that I talked to for this story, and I basically probed them along by saying,
"It's a good report."
Well, I just said to them, so, but you went through this process, right? And they went, oh, yeah, before I got hired. And I said, and everyone you know went through this process? And they went, oh, yeah, there's no such thing as not. And I went, except Natalie. And they said, except Natalie. And so that's that. I mean, even in the Trump White House, this is an incredibly rare thing, which is why, as we started to report this out, we kept just going to the back channel and being like, there's no way this could be the case. And it turns out it was.
And his understanding, because the president, I think, it was first day in office, he signed an executive order saying essentially that he would be able to give a security clearance as he so chose to. But it seems like this is a peculiar situation compared to others. What was the conversation like around the president just being able to give out a security clearance?
Yeah, I mean, one, it's tricky because just because the president signs an executive order, it doesn't just mean he can do that. The president can say someone has security clearance. One, that doesn't mean they have top-level secret security clearance. Also, it doesn't mean that they, as you noted, went through this extensive background check. That's important for everyone to do because there are so many things that background check can bring up and questions. And that's why once it's submitted, it may take the government a long time to comb through it. But that's because it brings up real things about a person's background history. In this case, the president is saying, oh, maybe she has this clearance, but she didn't have the background check for over a year. And even then, in the nitty gritty of, we're now being told, Caroline Leavitt went on record saying, well, she has the clearance now. We still don't know the details of did she completely fill out all the paperwork and receive that clearance in a normal way or not. We've still not received that information.
If you lie on the form, it is punishable by imprisonment, or you could get a fine. It is a serious legal document under U.S. 18C.
You said though, like earlier, you were telling us about like how
briefing?
siblings or friends are
Everybody.
even called.
I mean, to be very clear, you put these things on the form, but the government goes beyond what is on the form. They use the form as a basis. It is a similar vet to what they do to a vice presidential potential nominee, a potential pick. Like there are things you tell them, and then there are things they go and look for, and then they find additional things. My concern about Natalie Harp, she handles so many documents. The presidential daily briefing is not a secret. It's on an iPad, okay, that only maybe like 3 people can touch. If she doesn't have the clearance, she shouldn't be touching it. What has she seen that she has not been cleared to see, and what does she know?
And in that year, so we're saying from January 20th, I guess, on January 3rd of this year, the president of the United States and then folks, and they snatched up the leader of Venezuela. In the summer of last year, we took B-52s and bombed Iran. So there have been actual things that have happened in and around that White House that you would only want the people who have gone through this process to have. I think a lot of you have questions why Natalie Harp didn't go through it. There have been a lot of headlines about Natalie Harp, who she is, and the White House is very upset that people are paying attention to her. I will also point out they put her in a documentary that came out where she was next to Donald Trump and he was dictating to her what she should post. So this is not someone who they've been secretly trying to hide. She's been in pictures because she's behind the president. She's always on the wall paying attention. Has there been concern, because Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan reported in their book that people have been concerned about Natalie Harp just like being around all the time, right? And these kind of letters that she has been reportedly leaving the president. Who inside the White House has tried to maybe talk to the president or to Natalie about, she can be outside sometimes.
So the question, is there concern inside the White House? Yes, triple yes. We talked to 4 different people familiar with what's going on inside that said there is severe concern from top White House aides and security officials, not just about her not getting clearance, but a whole slew of things. And it's like the reasons the main thing is that she controls the information often that the president sees. This is the most powerful person in the world, and she is with him early hours, late hours at night, and we've talked to multiple people who say if we want the president to see something, we make sure Natalie sees it. She then controls. If she wants him to see it, she prints it out and she sends it to him.
Apparently, foreign leaders, in order to get in touch with the president of the United States, will sometimes contact Natalie Harp.
And this is also the thing that's really interesting now is what we know is the president really, really adores Natalie Harp. There's been a lot of reporting from the Times, from other folks about that. Top aides do not like her. And so they have tried to remove, top aides have tried to remove Harp in a polite way. One person told me that she just didn't get the signals that were given to her multiple times. And these top aides are afraid of upsetting the president because they don't want him to think that they don't like her. So it's this weird, the phone calls coming from inside the house kind of moment where they're trying to remove her, but they can't do it because the president loves her so much.